Hello, everybody. My exams are nearing, and one of the subjects I've been reading it's about post-colonial literature. So, this is something very new to me. I have not come across this. Post-colonial literature, in the sense, it means that after the colonies were gone, in the sense British left the colonies, there emerged a new literature. The writers, they trying to find out how the colonialism affected the colonized countries and how the colonized people behaved. Sometimes they were trying to imitate the person who oppressed them, and sometimes they were trying to have an amalgamation of cultures of both the colonized and the oppressor. Okay. So now one of the African writers, his name is see, when I'm on the video, I'm tending to forget everything now. So there's nobody around. Then why am I getting so nervous? Just that my exams are 1 month away, and I'm still, still studying. So, so this particular writer, he wrote the book Decolonization of the Mind. So decolonization of the mind means see, when the British came and in Africa, and they colonized lot of those places in Africa, South Africa. So there, so the British came and they colonized lot of places in Africa, and there was lot of oppression, in the sense the whites were making the blacks looks like animals, and they were treating them like animals really badly, making them work throughout the day in the fields, and basically the blacks were considered as a money making machines. And they had a lot of difficulty, in the sense they were hardly paid anything, and they were not even taking breaks in between, and that kind of oppression was happening. So, and this led to a lot of after math was that a lot of schools were started. A lot of schools were started, and the schools actually basically they were not allowing languages like Malawi to be taught. Only English was taught, French was taught, and then anything to do with African culture was frowned upon. So they were encouraged to do performances in English, totally avoiding the indigenous culture, and they were only focusing on spreading their agenda. The colonized people were constantly oppressed, and then what happened was the children were speaking only English, uh, and English was considered superior, and many of the African performances were frowned upon, and they even kept a fine. If they wanted to perform, they had to pay a certain amount of money to the place as a license, or so then slowly this started dwindling. So this particular writer, his interest was that the people were actually colonized, in the sense not physically, spiritually, but also mentally, and it was sort of ruling the mind of the people. So his name is Gugi Wathyong. He's a great writer. He died last year, May 28th. So he wrote this book called Decolonization of the Mind. And he was telling that in his book that when he was young, when he was going to the school, they were only allowed to speak English, and if they had spoken any other language, they would be fine, or maybe they had to put a placard around their neck saying that I am a donkey or I am a fool, that kind of a thing. And he also says that his one of his classmates were very good at very brilliant student, and he was not given any opportunities because he lacked the communication in English. And the author was very good in English, and he got an admission in a good college. He was able to do well, but however this person who didn't know English but was brilliant was reduced to a job of a bus driver. So these kinds of things were happening. And Ngugi Wa Thiong, in his Decolonization of the Mind, says that the agenda of the British was to actually conquer not only the trade but also the mind of the people. See, when they are pushing the agenda of spreading English and French and no other language, that means slowly they were trying to capture and destroy the cultural ethos of the African people. So this was a grave thing. And this person, this Ngugi Wa Thiong, he was awoke in the sense he understood what was happening. And this led to him trying to advocate the use of indigenous languages of Africa. And totally, he was telling that you should stop writing, the writers should actually stop writing in English, African writers. And he was so good at it that he says African educators should prioritize local language in education publishing, and the rejection of European language like English and French. He challenges the assumption that literary excellence requires European language. And also, it's a sort of mental enslavement. He says that, learning foreign language is knowing only foreign language and neglecting one's own language is a sort of mental enslavement. And he encouraged native languages, reflected on their experiences, knowledge, and he said Africans must use their native language. And Ngugi Wa Thiong, he stopped writing in English after he published the book Decolonization of the Mind and began writing all his work in Gikuyu language. And later on, he translated it to English. So he said, Africans must actually take pride in their language and preserve their culture and not get carried away by English and French. Because slowly, what happened was there was a subconscious thinking that English is better and other languages, local languages, native languages are not good or refined enough, and that their culture is also not good enough. So this led to his book and his works and his revolutionary thoughts led to a major breakthrough in the mindset of Africans. And a lot of African literature, their dramas, their poems, their plays were all being done in Gikuyu language, in Malawi language, and all other languages. So, when I was reading all these things, suddenly I felt that, is it the same with India? See, we have been colonized, and like 2 or 3 generations later, are we of the mindset that English is better than our native local language? Now, I was actually shaken when I read this book that how can we actually, I'm talking in English to you now. And I don't know if I'm as good in my native language in writing, reading, and talking. So, how did this come about? So, I had a feeling that were we all doing the right thing? that English is the medium of instruction and one of the native languages we are learning in school. However, after a lot of thought, my mind said to me that English is really a beautiful language. And there are beautiful poetry, beautiful dramas, and so much literature. And the way forward is that we retain our identity as our culture and ethos. At the same time, take the best of the English language. So this English opens doors to lot of other countries as well. So now the way forward is we take the best of the both worlds, retain our culture, and probably this is a opportunity, knowing English, that we spread our culture, our way of thinking, our yoga, our dances, our dramas, our movies, everything to different countries as well. So how would this be possible if we didn't know English? So I would say that we take the best of both worlds, retain our culture, our identity, and still love English and learn the English language and enjoy the dramas, poetry, and the English culture too. So basically, we are as human beings try to enjoy the best of the both culture. So there is no one good language or one that is bad. Everything is good. Just be like a swan. Take the good and leave out the bad. So that is my take on Decolonization of the Mind by Gugi Thiong, and my personal perception that how we should really look at it. And yes, thank you for today, and thank you for hearing me out.